I don't know if Dr. Luke wrote her a check or not.
He
I don't
also
think
doesn't have like,
so.
a $400 million, does he?
No. But I think that Nick Shapiro has been brought in to figure out how can they exit from this, because this is
I
really now
think
about
you're
saving
right.
Ryan Reynolds' career. It's about saving Ryan Reynolds' career, and it's about where is Taylor Swift? Like people have said, Taylor Swift was sexually harassed herself, if people recall. A DJ several years ago put his hand up her skirt when she was at a radio station. She sued him. Then he tried to sue her for defamation. She won. She beat him. All she wanted was $1 because all she wanted was that he was guilty, and he was guilty of doing it. Not only that, Kesha Taylor wrote Kesha a check to help support her sexual harassment case against Dr. Luke and donated
Ooh.
money to women who have been sexually harassed in workplaces. So where is she with Blake Lively?
Hmm.
Nick, I think,
She's nowhere to be found.
okay. Well, Nick, I think, is here to figure out how do we save Taylor Swift, Ryan Reynolds, right? Because it's over for Lively. Now, do I think she'll work again? Sure. I think people will work with anyone. I mean, I think didn't Bill Cosby do a tour after he got out of jail? Like Roseanne Barr, people like she still will have work. But this is about Ryan Reynolds continuing to be a monster movie star, that people love and adore and all that stuff. So I think Nick is there. Now,
And is his career over, Ryan Reynolds? I mean, is
no,
is the Deadpool over, or is that still happening?
still happening. I mean, some content creators have already started posting that they are starting to see on their videos where everyone used to trash Lively. All of a sudden, people are like in Blake Lively's defense, in Ryan Reynolds' defense. So a lot of people think Nick is already, now this is alleged, there is no proof, that Nick is already launching bots onto people's creators that are talking about them to get positive discussion going of Blake and Ryan. Again, I think
What
he
do you
could be
mean?
doing that.
Like bots? So say like Perez talks about this, Candace Owens. Why is there what
And then what
bots?
happens is all the like you can buy bots now to do anything, but bots can be purchased to go on to someone's Instagram and spam that Instagrammer with like positive stuff
Positive,
about
which
Blake
is what
Lively.
technically Rinna and Jenkins and Bouvet were saying happened.
Correct.
Lisa Rinna
So
is doubling down and saying her time at QVC has ended because somebody, and she's implying Lisa Vanderpump, really went after her in a hard way with bots. It's crazy.
so we'll see. That's a huge development. The other big thing that's being developed, and,
That's
and we're going to
big.
see very big. I think that they're going to settle. But the other big thing that's coming down the line is the New York Times has asked for Justin Baldoni and Wayfair's lawsuit against them for 200 million for basically defamation, putting out, not putting out the full story, manipulating images, knowing about the complaint long before what they said, not giving Baldoni proper time to respond. They want that dismissed. And they say they stand by. They did the exact right reporting like they've always done, and there's nothing nefarious. So we'll see over the next couple of weeks. I mean, if that lawsuit is not dismissed, that tells you a lot right there. If a judge looks at what that if the New York Times did not dot their I's and cross their T's, and they do not dismiss this case, that tells you right there a lot about what the influence of
What do you
Ryan
mean? So
Reynolds.
if the New York Times wants the case dismissed,
Yeah, and if it doesn't get dismissed, I think that tells you that they were probably influenced by the power of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively to air it, to, I'm sure do some due diligence, but to basically just take what she gave them and report it as complete fact without really doing their due diligence of working with his side and going to them and going, okay, you know, is this true? Is this true? Can you refute this? Is this, and most of the time, now look, they just published the civil complaint, right? But in journalism, I worked for Fox 5 DC for 13 years. This is why they never really made me a journalist. You have to have two sources before they'll go to air. You've got to have two people that will go on record, or if they want to remain anonymous, they've got to give a taped interview, and you have to know who that source is that will corroborate stories, or Fox wouldn't air it. Like that is, what Baldoni and them are saying is the New York Times, they just took this civil complaint, published it, basically said that Baldoni, orchestrated this smear campaign. Where are their other sources? Where You know, why did they manipulate now they claim that they manipulated the text only to make them look pretty for the article. Is that true? Or did they really not, were they pushed and influenced by, were they bought, And
Well, the
if this
rumor also, isn't it that Baldoni won't settle that, like, you know,
Well, first of all,
like,
it's not up to Justin Baldoni. Justin Baldoni has no money and no say in this. It's up to Steve Surowitz, who owns Wayfair Productions, and he's the billionaire that's backing this. If Steve wants to settle, they're going to settle. If Steve doesn't want to settle, I don't know Steve. I don't know. Maybe Steve is like, maybe don't fuck with Steve. I don't know. If Steve is like, we're not settling, then I guess they're going to trial. But the stakes are too high for Lively and Reynolds and to call a Taylor Swift. I mean, because this isn't about Blake Lively anymore. I mean, no one believes. I mean, we're
I
waiting. I
agree
mean,
with
I
you.
think
I
we're
think that
waiting for
I
Lively.
think they want to get out of this. I think that they have called in the top person. Now you tell me Obama and this and that. And I think they called in the top person to get out of this. And, you know, how do you get out of this? I mean, what do you say? This isn't like, yeah. I mean, you have to say, well, I mean, look, I don't think it's gonna go away without her saying, "Whoops,
I think she's going to
I,
apologize.
I,
I think she's going to
I'm
say,
sorry I
well,
accused you of sexual harassment. I thought about this and I thought about it and I realized I actually wasn't harassed. You were just doing your job."
I don't think she's going to say that. I think she's going to say, you are not a sexual harasser. However, I felt very uncomfortable by the way you ran things. I wish that it hadn't come to this. But I stand by the fact that I'm very offended but you are not a sexual harasser. I think is that is, and I think she's going to have to basically say, uh, there is no proof that you orchestrated a PR takedown of me. My businesses were severely affected emotionally by what I went through with you. I mean, you're a lawyer. You can
But
word
I
it any
think
way
the
you
key
want.
thing is the harassment. I mean, you're going to have to really say this guy is not a sexual
I
predator.
think she's going to. I think she's going to
Yeah.
because it's
They've got to want
over.
this. I mean,
It's over
again,
anyway, unless because at this point, where's the smoking gun? This has been going on now since last fall. Where's the smoking gun? Where's the video of him like masturbating to her voice? Where's the video of him coming into her trailer, being uber creepy, staring at her breast? I mean, Bill Cosby, that other nut job that's in jail, who's got cancer, who's hopefully hanging on by a
Weinstein?
last link. Yeah, I
Weinstein?
mean, these guys were like, I mean, unbelievable rapists and
How did Georgina, I mean, Georgina Chapman goes from that to Adrian Brody? I mean, man. I mean, she's drop dead gorgeous. She's done well for herself now.
how does Kylie Jenner go to Timothy Chalamet? I mean, we're hanging out in the wrong circles. I mean,
I mean, listen, I was happy with Tyga, but
me too.
Timothy
I love
Chalamet,
Tyga.
I mean, have you ever seen him with no shirt on? It's nice. But Timothy Chalamet,
Chalamet.
I gotta be honest with you, I don't mind a little Timothy Chalamet. I like what I see. And let me tell you something. Let me just tell you something. They are like, do you see the way that these two look at each other? I mean, they are in love. She looks at him, he looks at her, holding the hands. I think this is the real deal. I really do. I think Timothy, now, listen, I think.